I micro crochet small animals and key rings and flowers, and I get a lot of questions on what I use to make the key rings, and not necessarily these because I don't show them very often, but mostly the key rings. So let's go through all the supplies that I use and talk about them. Starting off with the crochet hook. It's very small. This is a 0.9mm crochet hook. It is from Clover. I started off with a generic set from Amazon. They were like plastic. Do I have one nearby? They were plastic, and this is a 1.5mm. They came in like a box. I can't remember why I bought the box of things, but they came in like a set of with random knitting and crochet things. It came with my yarn spinner, and I never intended on doing micro crochet, and then I had these small hooks, so I was like, yeah, why not? This is not the smallest hook you can get, but it is the hook that I found works well with the thread that is readily available, and it makes a good size charm for a keychain. This crochet hook is by Clover, and I love it. It's very like firmly in there. I have other hooks where they've, did I just pull that out a little bit? Hope it didn't. I've had other hooks where these rubber bits have started to come off, and it's frustrating. This is the second one I've owned of this because I lost the first one. I got it off of Amazon each time for like $10 or $11, I think, and I think it's great. I like the grippy handle compared to, I don't know where I put it, compared to the plastic handle of the like generic ones that I got for Amazon a while ago, and I would highly recommend this. The second thing that I obviously use is the crochet thread. I get asked a lot if I use like cross stitch or embroidery thread for my micros, and I don't. I started off with that, and for the amount that you need, it's, for one thing, it's not worth buying them. These are much better. They come in a nice roll. They don't get tangled when you try to use them. My favourites are probably from Hobby. This has been used, so it's a lot less than you actually get, but I do also get them on Amazon and elsewhere because you can never have too many colours, and I feel like it's a commitment to do an order from Hobby because I always try and make up the minimum order, but sometimes I just need more of one colour. So this one is from Hobby, and you can't really tell on camera, but it has a bit of a shine to it, which I really like. This one is from Thread Art. It's a little bit thinner, but it still works fine with the same crochet hook. And it's not as shiny, it's a little bit rougher. Is it Thread Art? It's not Thread Art. I'm not sure, but I'll put it in the description where this one is from. It's not Thread Art. I have Thread Art ones that I really like, and you get them in quite big, like, rolls, I guess. I say big, I feel like they're probably the same, but they're just in cardboard. This one is Thread Art, and yeah, the cardboard inside's bigger, so you probably get more. I wonder if you can see the difference. Obviously they're different colours, but this one is just smoother and shinier than this one, but these are fine. They have a lot more colour choices for these, so it's fine. So it's a Thread Art. This is somewhat a like brand that I usually do go back to if I need some because, again, I like the shine it has to it. It's a little bit nicer to work with because of that shine. It looks a little bit nicer, and they're not badly priced if you buy from their website. I usually get the size 10 instead of the size 3. I imagine this is size 3, so it's a decent bit smaller. It doesn't really matter though when it comes down to it. It's a minimal difference. And then I love a variegated yarn, so this one is from Aunt Liddy's. It is slightly thinner. I would say it's somewhere between the size of the other two. It has some yarn fluff on it. It has the shine to it. I love it. You can get these at Michael's, which is really handy for if I've run out of something. This was the cheapest one I think I'd found. I think it was like $3 or $4 from Walmart. It is the red heart ones, and they are very limited with colours, but it is about the thickness of the Aunt Liddy's one, and that is so much of that. So this, I go through white and black yarn so much, so I'm pretty glad that I now have so much white. I would probably repurchase the same brand in black if I can find it. No idea if they do black. And then honestly, if I can find like crochet thread anywhere and it's a new colour or it's variegated or something like that, I'll probably buy it because Blues are a little bit tricky to come by for some reason, and I feel like you can never have too many colour options. I have about 5 or 6 different yellows. I will just, if I find something new in that, because it's less common in stores, I will buy it. The other thing I use are these really small needles. They are, I don't care that they're gold, and actually all of the gold has come off of this anyway, so it's irrelevant. This is the one I use all the time at home, and then I have one that stays in my micro crochet bag. These are cross stitch needles. I don't think they have a size. I don't know what the size is. I don't know if they have size. I got them for $3.50 from a local craft store, and they have reasonably big eyes for getting the thread through, but it's small enough that I can sew the eyes onto my like micro crochet things and sew them up, or sew any limbs on or anything very easily. And these are just the best ones I found. I haven't really looked too hard, but cross stitch needles apparently are the one. Nice short ones, because you do need to get quite close. These will always be my favourite scissors for everything, but especially micro crochet, because you can get nice and close to the rest of the yarn without actually cutting the yarn, and they're nice and pointy, so if I need to like stab a yarn tail into the middle of my crochet thing, I can, and it's not an issue. I also like to open these slightly and use it with the stuff in, because it pushes it in nicely if I don't have my tweezers. These are from Amazon, but I did get them in the UK, so I don't know if I don't think they're available in the US Amazon. I have looked, because I would buy like 10 pairs of these if I could find them in the US. Leading on slightly from the scissors, I like these angled tweezers for getting stuff into things, because the little opening for stuff in, because I do amigurumi crochet, the little opening ends up very small, and these are angled so you can really stuff this stuff in, and it just works well for me. And they're quite pointy, so again, if you need to like poke any yarn tails in, you can very easily. Normal tweezers would probably work too, but I like that they have a bit more of a surface area than really pointed ones, because they're not straight. It makes them a little bit more useful for other things like poking in the yarn tails. And then finally, I honestly just use normal polyfill stuff in for the inside, and this always surprises people. I get a lot of people asking me what's in them at markets, and I always have this on me at markets, because I micro crochet at markets. I just use normal polyfill, and I know with normal crochet you want to break it up and make it nice and fluffy, but I find this easier to use by rolling it up in my hands, folding it over, and then pushing the folded over middle bit into the crochet thing, and that's just how I found it good to use. I recommend stopping them quite a bit, because it holds its shape a little bit better, and when you micro crochet with this thread, the shape doesn't look like it's going to be right for a little while sometimes. It's not until you add the stuff in and it stretches the stitches to where they need to be that it starts looking normal. Whereas when you crochet with normal acrylic yarn or Chanel yarn or something, it takes shape very quickly. It's not like that with micro crochet, and it will probably look wrong to start with, and then as time goes on and you make more of it, it will start looking normal. I always recommend when people want to start micro crocheting to work your way down the yarns. A lot of people who make similar things, or like the plushies, use Chanel yarn or some sort of chunky blanket yarn. So I think it's useful to work down to acrylic yarn to get used to that, and then go to a cotton yarn that is thinner, then jump into the micro crochet, because you start getting used to using and handling thinner yarns. The initial starting off with the magic ring in the first round or two of stitches can be a little bit tricky, because you don't have a lot to hold, and again, that's where the tweezers can come in handy if you want to hold it with the tweezers. I usually don't, just because I'm used to it now. And people always ask me how I can see the stitches, and to be honest, you just get used to it over time. It's just something that becomes easier to do, and you get used to how far you have to move the crochet hook without having to look at where you're going. Similar to maybe when you make a normal plushie, if you can do something like a round of stitches without looking, it makes life a lot easier with the micros if you can just get used to that distance of moving the hook and acknowledging that it's not a lot of distance. Thank you for watching, and if you micro crochet, let me know what things you love to use for it, and if you agree with me on some of the different brands I've used, or if you have something that's better, that would be really cool to hear or read in the comments. And if you're going to give micro crochet a try, I would love to see what you make if you tag me on Instagram.